So the big news of the day, obviously in college basketball, Mike Woodson reportedly considering a retirement after the season as Indiana's head men's basketball coach. Rick Bozich reporting on this for us. Rick, can't say we're terribly surprised that maybe this is coming, but the timing of it, what more can you tell us?
Well, I think the timing of it is involved with, first of all, Tyler, on Tuesday night, Indiana got beat by Wisconsin and looked really bad. They were down 19-2, 26-4. He's already been booed in Assembly Hall earlier this year when they got blown out by Illinois. And on Saturday, Michigan comes to town. Michigan's coached by Dusty May. Dusty May is a favorite son, grew up just outside Bloomington, took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four several years ago. And last year, when a lot of IU fans wanted to move on from Woodson, didn't happen. He went to Michigan, so he'll be in the building. And I think they're trying to avoid a situation where Dusty May walks in, standing ovation.
Yeah.
Mike Woodson walks in, boos.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario, I think, for IU administration. Take me through how we get here. I mean, I don't necessarily need it from, look, Mike Woodson has only made 2 NCAA tournament appearances. Those were in his first 2 seasons. He has not made it the past 2. But Rick, I think one of the things that has always stood out to me is in the quality games against quality opponents, IU just has not been able to stack up in those matchups.
You mean they've gotten beat by 20 points or
yeah,
more?
there you go. Yeah, that's a euphemistic way.
Get it out. Yeah, I mean, they made the tournament the first year. They got beat badly by St. Mary's. They made the tournament the next year. They got beat badly by Miami. And then last year they didn't make the tournament. They got beat badly by Auburn. They got beat badly by UConn. And then this summer, you can't forget that part of it. There were 2 top 25 recruits from the state of Indiana, Jalen Harrelson and Byron Mullins. And they didn't get either one of them. And I think that it was communicated that Woody didn't really work hard enough recruiting him. So then you come into this season, they get blown up by Louisville in the Bahamas. They get blown out in some early Big Ten games. And then after the game on Tuesday night, the outcry just got louder and louder.
Yeah, I think the expectations were so much higher for this program coming into the season because it's been reported that Indiana's NIL budget for this roster was around like $5 million.
Correct. That's
and
correct.
that is a huge sum of money in this day and age to spend on a roster, and you can't do it and not get the results with this group, Rick. Whether it's getting Umar Ballo or anybody else on this roster, it just hasn't worked out the way people thought it was going to.
No doubt. I mean, Ballo was a really good player at Arizona. He was considered the top center to get out of the portal. Miles Rice was the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year last year. Kanan Carlisle was a top 50 recruit, and I think that they were picked to finish top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten. They're now 11th, or actually they're in a 4-way tie for 10th. They started the season ranked 17th in the AP poll. They're probably not going to make the NCAA tournament. So when you underachieve back-to-back years for a job like at Indiana or at Louisville or Kentucky, the fans are not going to be accepting of that.
And this has been going on for so long at IU, and you have obviously been around the program for so long. What do you do from here? I mean, where do you try to swing? Obviously, May is going to be the first name that anybody wants, but I don't really know how realistic that is. He's doing a great job at Michigan, and while it's not the program that Indiana is, they have plenty of support out there in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, you just got to get the best coach available who understands what the job is. That's been part of the problem they've had. I mean, I think Archie Miller didn't understand what the job really was in terms of it's more than just coaching basketball. It's being the face of Indiana University in a lot of different ways. Mike Woodson, I don't think, really understood what it was like to coach college basketball because all of his background was in the NBA. So you got to get a guy who knows what the challenge is, can really coach, and will accept that. And they're out there. I mean, let's look at what Louisville did. They went out and got Pat Kelsey.
Sure.
He understands what the challenge here, and he's turned it around in 1 year. Mark Pope was a great hire for UK. He understands what the challenge is there. There's coaches out there. You just got to get the right fit, and that's what IU hasn't really done. Sampson was probably the right fit, but he broke the NCAA rules, which are no longer rules.
What's your wish list, if you have it? If you got to come up with a few names off the top of your head,
I don't know. I call it who I think they're going to look at. I think they're going to look at Dusty May. I do. I think they're going to look at Chris Beard of Ole Miss, and I know that he's got the issue in his background with his fiance where the charges were later dropped. I think they'll look at Mick Cronin of UCLA. I think he'll be a live candidate. Some people still throw out the name of Brad Stevens. I think that's ridiculous. He turned them down the last time.
Yep.
He's the president of the Celtics. Why would he want to go back and coach college basketball? And there'll probably be a few dark horse candidates out there. A guy like Grant McCaslin, maybe, of Texas Tech.
Sure.
Here's one that I think is a good one. Buzz Williams of Texas A&M. I think he'd be a really good choice. Yeah.
The last thing, and you've kind of touched on it here, because I consider you the foremost on Indiana basketball. Why hasn't it worked? It's been so long since Indiana was Indiana, and they've kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, and they have not been able to nail this. In your opinion, what? I know there's a laundry list of things that have gone wrong, but what is the biggest thing that's been holding them back?
2 or 3 things. I mean, the first thing is they haven't hired the right coach. They did in Sampson. Mike Davis obviously got the job one night, got fired. He wasn't ready for it. Then they brought in Sampson. He was the right guy, but he broke the rules and had to go. Tom Crean was there the longest of anybody, but he completely wiped the program, scrubbed it clean when he started, and it took him 3 bad seasons to get it going, and that, I think, he lost some of the goodwill in the fan base there. And then Archie Miller, as I said, just wasn't fit for the job, and Mike Woodson really wasn't the guy for the job either. He doesn't understand the difference between college and pro basketball and what the job entails of actually, you got to go out and recruit. You can't just sit back and do some of the stuff he did. I just don't think he had he's going to be 67 years old. It's a job for a younger guy.
No question about it. A lot of work to do ahead, and for us too, to keep following this story as it moves along. But he's Rick Bozich. I'm Tyler Greever for WDRB Sports.